tragedy for Palestinians.
Southern city Han Yunis is now surrounded by...
The world's most problematic conflict is that between Palestine and Israel, which we will talk about today. Almost 25,000 people, including 13,000 women and children, have died as a result of Israel's deadly bombardment of Gaza in less than 70 days, making it the deadliest conflict to have ever befallen the besieged Palestinian enclave. However, when did the Israeli-Palestinian conflict begin? The issue most likely dates back almost a century to the Balfour Declaration, which was signed by Britain during World War I and committed to establishing a national home for Jews in Palestine. By late October 1917, British forces had wrested control of the region from the Ottoman Empire. After that, Jews started migrating in large numbers to Palestine as a result of the Nazi movement in Europe, which intensified the migration. In Palestine, the percentage of Jews rose from 6% to 33% between 1918 and 1947. Palestinians were concerned about the rise in tensions brought on by the demographic shift. Despite feeling the threat between 1936 and 1939, Palestinian Muslims welcomed Jews, considering them as their brothers. But through dinner talks and underground Zionist organizations, the global movement for a Jewish homeland in Palestine continued. Furthermore, Palestinians were forced to escape when armed Zionist militias began to attack them. After that, in the late 19th century, Zionism evolved into a political ideology, like the ideology of Indian Hinduism. If you would like us to delve into the ideology of Indian Hinduism in our next video, kindly subscribe, like, and share the channel for notifications on upcoming content. The newly formed United Nations was consulted on the situation in Palestine, which was racked by violence. In 1947, the United Nations declared Jerusalem to be an independent international territory and adopted Resolution 181, which allocated 55% of the territory to the Jewish people and 45% to Arab Muslims. Recall that there was once an Arab population in Palestine. Then the Palestinians helped the Jews settle here, but in exchange they were driven from their own country. Is this not the ultimate form of disobedience? However, Jerusalem was declared a separate internationalized territory by UN. There are currently two distinct populations in the city, the majority Palestinian East Jerusalem and the mostly Jewish West Jerusalem. But again, after the 1967 Six-Day War, Israel took control of both East Jerusalem and the West Bank. However, the international community did not acknowledge this development. On other side, Palestinians want East Jerusalem as the capital of their future state. The significance of this matter also increases because Christians, Muslims, and Jews all have religious reasons to be in the East Jerusalem. It is the location of the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, also referred to as Temple Mount by Jews and Al-Haram al-Sharif by Muslims. Later on, UN designated it a World Heritage Site in 1981. What is Nakba? Before the State of Israel was established in 1948, Zionist militias forcibly removed over 800,000 Palestinians from their homes. This mass exodus came to be known as the Nakba, or disaster. What is Oslo Agreement? Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin and Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat signed the 1993 Oslo Accords, which called for peace to be achieved in 5 years. Neither side had ever recognized the other until that moment. After the Oslo Accords, Israel retained effective control over the remaining territory and granted limited sovereignty to the newly formed Palestinian Authority over 18% of the West Bank. But Jews also took control of the 18% of land set aside for Palestinians in the Oslo Agreement, which resulted in the agreement's termination. Jewish communities settled in the West Bank on Palestinian land grew quickly after the Oslo Accords were broken. In September of this year, there were up to 700,000 Jews living here, compared to about 250,000 in 1993. The occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem are home to about 3 million Palestinians. This is unfair. Do not you think? It is an act of oppression, surely, to forcefully occupy their land in this harmful way. Hamas, which fights against Israel for the freedom of Palestinians, carried out an attack on Israel with rockets on October 9. Following a surprise attack by Hamas inside Israel on October 9, Israel cut off the Gaza Strip's supplies of food, fuel, water, and electricity and established a total blockade over the region. At least 1,200 people were killed in that attack. Presently, approximately 5 million Palestinians reside in Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem, while 1.6 million Palestinians hold Israeli citizenship. Approximately half of their population consists of this. One half of the population resides abroad, particularly in Arab nations. And today, there are roughly 14.7 million Jews worldwide, with 84% residing in Israel and the US. The remaining individuals reside abroad in nations like France, Canada, Argentina, and Russia. I hope you have a good understanding of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Thank you.